There's a load of advice when it comes to riding and setting up your e-mountain bike. Some of it good, some of it bad. So here's a few of the ones that we'd rather forget. So should you turn your motor off when heading downhill? Well, there's no real added benefit by turning off the system when you're tackling those downhill sections. All you're in danger of is losing flow and momentum if you were to drop below the assist speed. So if you've got the system on, if you drop below your limiter, you're gonna get a bit of boost out of the section rather than the bike just being a dead weight. And on some systems, it'll actually throw a fault code, like the Shimano system, if you were to turn it on whilst pedaling. Just stick it in boost mode or turbo is some of the worst advice we've heard. Turbo mode or boost is going to eat up your battery super quick, and you're really going to notice that difference in assist when that battery starts running out and you drop to those lower assist modes like eco and trail. Turbo mode is fine if you're just going out for a power hour, but stick it in eco or trail to get the most out of your battery. Just wash it like a normal bike is definitely some bad advice too. Whilst your e-mountain bike is pretty water resistant, it definitely isn't waterproof, so you really need to be mindful when it comes to washing it. One definite no-no is washing it upside down. The bike is designed to drain with the aid of gravity, letting the water drain through the drain holes that are built into your frame. If it's upside down, the bike can just fill with water and damage the electrics. Just use your head when it comes to washing. Keep direct jets away from the motor, the battery, and the control unit. It's vitally important to dry your bike after too. And one statement we often hear is that you'll easily make that ride on one battery. Well, that simply isn't the case and definitely not true. We all vary massively from our weight, our riding styles, and how we use the power modes on our e-bike. A route that is possible for one rider may simply not be achievable by another. Turn it off and back on again. Now this might work for your laptop back at home, but it certainly isn't a good idea when it comes down to your e-mountain bike. The whole system is monitored by the software on your bike, and if that develops a fault, it's going to display a fault code on your display. Now it isn't a good idea to turn it off and back on again. Yes, it may sometimes rectify that problem, but it definitely won't sort out the root of the cause, and guaranteed that's going to strike at the worst possible moment. So get it back to your dealer, get it plugged in, and get it sorted. Now you may hear riders commenting on your tyre pressure, be it too hard or too soft. Well, the truth is there isn't actually a right or wrong tyre pressure. What there is the perfect tyre pressure for you and the way that you ride. We all ride different styles, we attack the trail differently, we all weigh different weights, we run different tyres, different carcasses, different compounds, and that will all come into play. So find a tyre pressure that suits you and not your mates. If you are going to replace those components on the bike, you need to replace them as one. You need to replace the cassette, the chain, and the chainring to make sure it's all going to be compatible and working nicely. But it's a lot cheaper if you're actually going to get a chain checker to keep an eye on that chain wear in the first place. A hardtail gives you different skills, not necessarily better ones, although they are a great inexpensive way to get into the e-mountain bike world and to ride basic trails. But there's no way they give you more skills. If you're serious about riding off-road, a full suspension bike will be the best tool for the job. They will be faster, more comfortable, and increase your confidence, and in turn, increase your skill levels. When you're hitting the trails on your e-bike, it's quite easy to ignore all those ominous noises that are coming from it, the creaks, the rattles, things like that. But the creaking and the rattling is often a sign that something needs a bit of work, or it could be a component that is going to fail. So you need to get it sorted ASAP, because guaranteed that item is going to fail at the furthest point out on your ride. Some really bad advice that I've heard some riders say is just pump your tyres up to the pressure that's written on the side of the tyre. Now this is a maximum tyre pressure, something you should definitely not exceed. So if you have pumped it up to that pressure, it's probably going to be too hard, and therefore you're going to get very little grip and a lot of feedback from the trail. So just make sure you adjust those pressures down to pressure that's going to suit you and your riding style. Just lean back or pull up on your bars, shut your eyes. I've heard it all before, and this is definitely some really bad advice when it comes to riding. So on a feature like this, you definitely don't just want to lean back or pull up on the handlebars. You want to be mentally ready to attack something like this on the trail. If you do that advice, you just lean back, you're probably going to end up in a big crash, and that's going to dent your confidence. When it comes to this sort of thing on the trail, just start small and work your way up. Progression is definitely key. If you're going to crash, it's going to ruin your confidence. Turn your rebound up, slow your rebound down, need more compression. This is all advice that we might hear from riders on the side of the trail when it comes to setting up the suspension on your bike. But the thing is, if you're constantly fettling your suspension, you're never going to know where you are. So I suggest getting it in the right place and getting used to the way that the bike's going to handle out on the trail. One thing that is vital to set up on your e-bike is going to be the sag. Now you want this around 30% on the front and the rear shocks. If you've got too much or too little sag, it's definitely going to affect the way the bike rides. When it comes to rebound and compression, get it in the mid setting and just plus and minus it maybe once every week. Just get to know your suspension before you change it on every ride. So there you go, a load of bad advice and definitely things you do not want to be doing on your e-mountain bike. If you've got any other bad advice you want to add down in the comments box down below, get involved. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to EMBN and give us a find and a follow on your favorite social media. Cheers.